Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. Want to thank you so much for tuning in today. All right, guys, I'm back with more updates out of the Middle East, and I have a massive news report to share with you. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we magically have an abrupt ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And from what I understand right now, all hostilities have ceased. We're not seeing any attacks from either side. As of right now's time, 6:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the United States on today's date, June 23rd, 2025. So this ceasefire was announced by Donald Trump, the US president. I want to show you guys this report here on your screen. Trump confirms Israel and Iran have achieved a full ceasefire, halting attacks. Hours after Iran targeted a US military base in Qatar today, President Donald Trump said on social media that Iran and Israel had agreed to a total ceasefire. Attacks appear to have ceased. Yeah, you guys won't believe this. I mean, this was just out of nowhere after a U.S. base being attacked today. We thought it was going to be World War III or something crazy was going to go down. The U.S. decided not to respond to it. It's been a crazy last 3 to 4 hours today as I've been monitoring channels on X to see what's going on with this war. And you're going to see so much back and forth flip flopping here, especially on the Iranian side. Is the ceasefire in effect? Is it not going to be in effect? It was just an absolute headache today and a mess of a ceasefire that was set up here. But it does look like it has gone into effect. And I want to show you guys all the details here. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to hop on over here to Max 25. This is going to be on X, and we've got a post here from Donald Trump, the U.S. president, on True Social. And he says, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States of America. So this has been one heck of a day today. I mean, we've been seeing so much spinning around in circles and trying to figure out what's going to happen over here. And out of all of this, at the end of the day, what we're hearing is a ceasefire. And that is amazing news. But it's something I was for sure not expecting. I'm sure a lot of you guys were not as well. There was so much happening over the last few hours. We had a lot of U.S. bases being attacked in the Middle East as well. A lot of Iranian-backed groups, especially in Iraq, attacking multiple bases. So I'm going to try to show you guys as much has been happening over the last few hours here today. Now, Vice Grad 24, Trump on the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. I think the ceasefire is unlimited. It's going to last forever. I don't believe they'll be shooting at each other ever again. Okay, that's what Trump stated today, that Israel and Iran are officially done. He thinks they will never attack each other ever again. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Do you think that will ever be the case, or what's going to happen here in the future? Now, Marian Afal breaking. Qatar Prime Minister reportedly secured Iran's ceasefire agreement. Qatar's Prime Minister Mohammed bin Al Thani allegedly secured Iranian agreement to U.S. ceasefire proposal during a recent phone call with Tehran, Reuters reports. Senior Iranian official to Reuters says, there's indeed a ceasefire agreement which has been accepted by Iran. The dramatic reversal comes after Iran denied receiving any ceasefire proposals just minutes before Trump's announcement. Qatar's diplomatic intervention appears to have bridged the gap between conflicting statements. Source was Reuters. Yeah, so just so much change of tone and rhetoric here, especially coming up from Iran today. 1 minute they were saying there was going to be a ceasefire. Lots of officials were coming out saying there wasn't. And they were changing the times of when this ceasefire was going to take effect. I'll show you guys all in just a minute. It's just an absolute mess today. But according to this information, Qatar's Prime Minister Mohammed bin Al Thani was able to secure this ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran today. So that's great news. So now this update from suppressed news, there is no agreement on a ceasefire, but if Israel stops, we will stop. Yeah, so you're agreeing to their proposal, even if you're not saying it directly. So here was a statement from Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister out of Iran. And this is what he stated on X. As Iran has repeatedly made clear, Israel launched a war on Iran, not the other way around. As of now, there is no agreement on any ceasefire or cessation of military operations. However, provided that the Israeli regime stops its illegal aggression against the Iranian people no later than 4 a.m. Tehran time, we have no intention to continue our response afterwards. The final decision on the cessation of our military operations will be made later. Okay, so you can see here he's claiming that if Israel stops their attacks no later after 4 a.m., they will stop their attacks onto Israel. And from what I understand, we started to really hear the information coming out right around 4:30 a.m. Tehran time. Okay, this would have been on June 24th, 2025. That we were hearing that the ceasefire was going into effect. Okay, so it's roughly about maybe 30 minutes after 4 that potentially the hostilities were ending. Okay, so that's what he was stating here, that there was no agreement at the beginning, but they were agreeing to end hostilities if need be at 4. Then we had this other post coming out as well from Mossad Defender. Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi appears to confirm the end of the hostilities between Iran and Israel, with him thanking the Iranian armed forces for their efforts in defense and attack during the war against Israel. So here's the statement that came out after the last one you just saw from Abbas Araghchi again. The military operations of our powerful armed forces to punish Israel for its aggression continue until the very last minute at 4 a.m. Together with all Iranians, I thank our brave armed forces who remain ready to defend our dear country until their last drop of blood and who responded to any attack by the enemy until the very last minute. Okay, so it does look like they agreed to a ceasefire, but maybe they didn't want to admit it in the beginning. So just crazy. So much flipping around in circles here. Now from Mario Nafal, breaking, Iran's 4 a.m. deadline passes with no attacks reported in Tehran. Foreign Minister Araghchi's ultimatum expired 30 minutes ago as Tehran hits 4:30 a.m. local time. Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister, said if Israel stops its illegal aggression no later than 4 a.m. Tehran time, we have no intention to continue our response afterwards. France 24 confirms no ongoing attacks in Tehran, suggesting de facto cessation despite Iran denying formal agreement. White House maintains Israel agreed to ceasefire contingent on Iran halting strikes, which Iran appears to be observing without acknowledgement. Source was France 24. Yeah, so again, guys, you can see here just so much, whether Iran was agreeing to this or not, or whether they weren't. But from what we understand right now, there has been a ceasefire that is in effect as of right now. Now, from World Source News 24/7, breaking, Iranian state media Fars news agency correspondent stated that the ceasefire plan proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump is completely false and aims to divert public attention from the frustration the United States has experienced following attacks on its bases in the region. The correspondent added that the Islamic Republic of Iran, in response to these media campaigns, will prove on the ground within the next few hours the falsity of these allegations against the Israeli entity. Okay, so you can see here, Iranian state media was claiming that this was completely false. There was no ceasefire that was going to be going into effect. So you can see here there was just so much confusion being passed around on whether it was going to be going into effect or not. So that was that report there. Here's another one as well from Max 25, senior Iranian official to CNN. At this very moment, the enemy is committing aggression against Iran, and Iran is on the verge of intensifying its retaliatory strikes with no ear to listen to the lies of its enemies. They were commenting on Trump stating that this war was going to be ending and we were going to have a ceasefire in effect pretty soon. And this Iranian official, which we don't know the name of it, all we know is it was a senior official of Iran speaking to CNN, stating that they, if anything, they were going to intensify their retaliatory attacks against U.S. bases and obviously Israel as well. And another one as well from Max 25, senior Iranian official of CNN. Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal and sees no reason for one. Okay, so here was another official stating the same thing to CNN, that apparently they had received no ceasefire. They didn't see any reason for it, and they weren't going to ceasefire at all, yet we saw that happen. Now from World Source News 24/7, breaking, a source informed France 24 that if Israel strikes continue after 3:30 Tel Aviv time, 20 minutes, Iran will deem the ceasefire void. Yeah, so even another source from Iran was apparently even stating that if this went on, if these attacks continued on past 3:30 Tel Aviv time, then this whole ceasefire would be voided. And we happened to pass that time, hitting 3:30 Tel Aviv time in the morning. The attacks were still ongoing, so I'm assuming this source was not even correct, because we were still seeing this war continuing, and the actual set time was supposed to be 4 a.m. Tehran time, that they would actually cease hostilities between each other's nations. Now, as a defender, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just finished a meeting with his cabinet, reportedly instructing them not to speak publicly about U.S. President Trump's announcement of a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. So I thought that was interesting as well. Israel wasn't willing to come out and speak on this at all. They were all instructed not to speak about it publicly one bit, okay, to stay completely silent in the dark. And I thought that was very interesting coming out, that Israel, even though they were going to be agreeing to a ceasefire, why were they not willing to speak about it publicly? So you can see it was just very confusing here. Now, Mario Nafal breaking: Iraqi command confirms drone strike on Taji base air defense site. Baghdad operations commander Lieutenant General Walid al-Tamimi has confirmed that an unknown drone targeted an air defense and radar site at Camp Taji, north of the capital. The strike caused significant damage to the site, but no casualties were reported among the Iraqi armed forces. Yeah, this base is also known as Camp Cook, I believe, but it's also called Taji Base. And it was reportedly attacked as well near Baghdad tonight in Iraq. And reportedly there was like an air defense system that was targeted, or some sort of radar. I've got pictures of that today, and there was a massive explosion over here. And this is a base that has Iraqi forces, also coalition forces, sometimes NATO and U.S. troops can be stationed here as well, but I'm not sure if there was U.S. troops there at the time. Now, for Mosin Defender, the fire at Camp Taji to the north of Baghdad has been brought under control now, with a clear image able to be seen of the air defense and radar system that was targeted, apparently by a drone or an airstrike. Okay, so here's that air defense system or radar that was targeted and caught on fire and was destroyed here at this base. This is at Camp Taji, also known as Camp Cook, apparently up near Baghdad, okay, north of Baghdad. This is where we had this explosion over here. So there's a picture of that radar station. Now, from Mosin Defender, explosions are continuing to be seen and heard near Camp Taji to the north of Baghdad, with reports of possible airstrikes targeting Iranian-backed forces in Iraq. Now, I'm not sure if this was like a major drone attack ongoing at Camp Taji. This could have been Iranian-backed forces attacking this camp, or it could have also been U.S. airstrikes being carried out in the area, as maybe they were under attack by Iranian-backed militias. But we can take a look at this video here to hear some explosions in the distance near Camp Taji. All right, so this is possibly the fire over here with this air defense system at that base, is what I'm thinking, what we're looking at here. Then we also hear a massive explosion. That could have been the drone crashing into that unit, or maybe it was a drone nearby that was exploded or destroyed midair, but it looks like it definitely crashed over there somewhere, is most likely what that was. That would have been an Iranian-backed forces drone. Now, from Marin Afal breaking: drone attack reported on U.S. forces at Al-Assad Air Base. Reports now say U.S. forces at Al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq have come under drone attack. This follows a wave of strikes on 3 other military sites near Baghdad in just the past hour. Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 bases all being attacked. I've got a few of them here that I can show you guys, the different ones that were being attacked. So Al-Assad Air Base also reportedly being attacked by drones as well. Here's another one, Vicegrad 24 breaking: reports of suicide drones attacking Balad Air Base north of Baghdad. It would be the 3rd military base to come under attack in Iraq over the 2 hours. Okay, so yeah, at least 3 bases here. Balad Air Base also north of Baghdad reportedly being attacked by suicide drones as well. Here's another one, Vicegrad 24 breaking: reports of suicide drones targeting Camp Victory, which houses U.S. forces near Baghdad International Airport. Okay, so even drone attacks on Camp Victory, and for sure U.S. forces are stationed here right next to the Baghdad International Airport. So that's crazy news. Now, Vicegrad 24 breaking: the Israeli Air Force launches a wave of airstrikes against targets in Iran. Sounds like the gentleman filming the explosions like what they see. Yeah, all at the same time over the last few hours prior to this ceasefire going into effect, we had Israeli warplanes carrying out strikes in Tehran, the capital of Iran. Take a look.
Oh! Oh, Daniel, اومد یا اولفت اینو به اوه اوه.
All right, so a lot of my sources on X earlier were indicating these were massive airstrikes all across the capital. We do have a report as well that a nuclear scientist was targeted and possibly eliminated tonight as well. So there's a major airstrike there in Tehran. Here's another one from Mosin Defender. Several airstrikes within the last few minutes on northeastern Tehran. Here's a picture also, reportedly some sort of building or something over here being struck. Not sure exactly what the target was, but we can see a massive airstrike that was carried out here also by the Israeli Air Force. Here's more pictures also from Max 25. Tehran now is what he says. More pictures of airstrikes all across Tehran. There was so many reports of explosions everywhere, all over this city, as multiple Israeli warplanes were flying over here, launching missiles and bombs all over Tehran. Now from Mosin Defender, another Iranian nuclear scientist was reportedly eliminated tonight in Tehran by precision strike from the Israeli Air Force. So I don't know how many nuclear scientists by now. There could have been more than 10. I haven't even been keeping track, but I know for sure there's been at least 6 or 8 of them that have been targeted and eliminated already throughout the duration of this war for the last, what has it been, like almost 2 weeks now that this has been going on. So yeah, they're claiming they eliminated another nuclear scientist in Iran tonight. And here's a video I can show you from Vicegrad24 breaking reports of an Israeli decapitation airstrike against a high-ranking Iranian official in Tehran. So this could possibly be that nuclear scientist that was being targeted here. There's a lot of people showing up. We can see a fire that broke out here, but it's really hard to see what it is that was hit. I'm thinking maybe it was some sort of car that could have been struck, because Israel does do that a lot. They do that with Hezbollah over in Lebanon. That's usually where they eliminate a lot of the top officials of Hezbollah, is usually when they're in a vehicle. So I'm thinking that's probably what's on fire here. Could possibly be a vehicle or maybe a building, but it looks more like a vehicle here, and a bunch of people are crowded around it. That could definitely be that nuclear scientist that they took out. And now for Mario Nawfal, breaking bomb threat reported near the White House. Unconfirmed reports are emerging of a bomb threat near the White House, with evacuations of nearby buildings reportedly in progress. Situation remains unconfirmed, and authorities have not yet issued an official statement. Updates will follow as more information becomes available. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, just so much happening tonight. Even a bomb threat over here at the White House. I haven't heard very many updates on that, what the situation has been with this, but I'll check back on that. If I get some updates, I'll do a separate story for you guys, but I'm telling you, just so much crazy information. I feel like my mind is just burned out today. There's been so much happening, and I've been trying my best to cover this for you guys, so I hope you're enjoying my coverage of this war today. Now Mario Nawfal breaking, 2 Mahan air flights from China land back-to-back in Tehran. 2 long-haul Mahan air flights from Shanghai and Beijing just touched down in Tehran minutes apart using Airbus A340s. These flights are anything but routine. Mahan Air is under U.S. sanctions for backing the RGC and has a track record of flying weapons and tech disguised as civilian traffic. With Iran taking hits from both the U.S. and Israel, the sudden arrival of wide bodies from major Chinese cities is raising serious eyebrows. Okay, so this is something we've been seeing at least 2 or 3 times over the past week as well. While this war between Israel and Iran has been ensuing, is we've been seeing some flights coming from China directly into Tehran. And what are they doing? What are they bringing into there? I'm not really sure what they're taking in. Are they bringing in military equipment or what? These kind of look like passenger planes. So these are Airbus A340s. And it says here these flights are anything but routine. So these are under U.S. sanctions right now. And yeah, could they be flying in weapons to the IRGC into the capital? Who really knows? And maybe they're disguising these as civilian, airlines or airlines that they're using to bring in equipment. Who really knows what's going on? But this is something we've seen numerous times, that the Chinese are flying something in. It's usually 2 aircraft at a time. I've been noticing that also. So I'll continue to follow that story as well. If we get some updates on that, I'll let you guys know. But we have seen this at least 2 or 3 times over the last week. Okay, guys? So I want to thank you very much for being here. So much information coming out. And again, as far as I know, there is a ceasefire that's currently in effect, and it looks like it's holding, at least as of right now. We're not seeing Israel and Iran attacking each other, but we'll see if it holds. And if Israel and Iran choose to not attack again, we probably will see an end to this conflict entirely. So let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.